Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints Review channel, something content for our match preview and predicted lineup video ahead of a massive game against Sheffield United on Saturday. I'm going as far to say it's our biggest game of the season so far. Firstly, apologies if you can hear the work going on outside. I don't know if the mic's picking that up, but if you can, apologies. Not a clue what they're doing. Anyway, before you get into it, do make sure you've hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet already with your notifications turned on. Follow us on all our socials, and of course, this video is kindly sponsored by the guys over at Pitch Sport. Make sure you've downloaded that app if you haven't yet already. Right, let's get into it. Big game. Huge. Before we talk about it, let's have a little bit of reflection on Everton. It was a tough one to take, I think, because the performance warranted maybe a point based on the chances we created, but those chances came in the last 5 minutes. You know, we were trailing virtually 75 minutes until we started to create anything of note. And Everton were comfortable. That was the thing. Everton were comfortable despite, you know, us having a decent amount of possession, a few players having decent performances. We defended relatively well from open play after the goal. It was just from set pieces where I thought Everton looked most dangerous because we persisted with that high line. But who was it? It was Gineppo and Vestergaard who had great chances towards the end, not only to equalise but to win it. Obviously, if we scored both. So yeah, it was a difficult one. I would have said out of the 9 games where we haven't won in the Premier League, that wasn't the worst performance. But again, it's a game where we haven't picked up a result, and we go into Saturday 14th in the table. We can't even go 13th with a win because Palace are 4 points above us. It's must win. It's absolutely must win. I know Sheffield United are bottom of the league, but they've been fighting, you know, and we haven't. They've been fighting since the turn of the year. I still don't think they're going to have enough to stay up just because they gave themselves too much of an uphill task to overcome in the first half of the season. But fair play to them. They're rolling up their sleeves and they're putting in the hard work and they're getting wins. They beat Aston Villa midweek, something we couldn't do at home. So, yeah, it's going to be a really tough game, I think. And that's why I'm nervous, because it's must win. It's absolutely must win. Thankfully, though, we do welcome back a handful of key players to the side. Ibrahima Diallo is back. Kyle Walker-Peters is back. And Minamino has overcome a knock, so he's back as well. Gineppo, it looked like he might be out for this one. I think he picked up a little bit of a knock at Everton, but he's been in training. He looks fine to play. And I think he was probably our best player at Goodison Park, to be fair. I think he's come on over the last couple of weeks, defensively more so, which is a little bit frustrating because I would like to see a bit better offensive play for him. He had a great chance to equalise at Goodison Park and he didn't take it, but his defensive work rate's been excellent, so he definitely deserves a start, and we'll obviously get onto the predicted lineup a bit later. But I'm so happy to have Walker-Peters back. We've missed his threat from the right hand side, you know, not just his defensive ability, but I think he is a big presence when we go forward as well. Without him, you know, we don't really look for that forward pass. We don't look as threatening going forward. I think he's a massive boost. Even Ibrahima Diallo as well. You know, he had some great games before his injury. It was a real shame that he was out for a month or two because I thought he was playing really well. And of course, now that Romeo's out for the season, we need Diallo in there. You know, he's got a great opportunity to make that position next to Ward-Prowse's own, because he's going to have, well, hopefully, assuming he stays fit, he's going to have almost 3 months of playing there. And then, of course, Minamino, you know, we've seen how much of a threat he can be since he's signed on loan. I've been really impressed with him. I've said it in other videos. He's completely exceeded my expectations. So, yeah, it's a big boost to have these players come back. But at the same time, we've got to perform. You know, we had Walker-Peters come back for the games against Wolves. He was great in the Cup. He was good in the league, but he came off injured, you know, and we still lost the game. We were 2-1 down when he came off, so the whole team has to play. It can't just be these 3 players who are coming back. Everyone's got to be up for the fight, because it is going to be a battle. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be uneasy on the eyes at times. But it's vital. It's absolutely vital. I think back to when we played West Brom the Pellegrino season, and it was must win, and we went there in fairness and won 3-2. I feel the same. I honestly feel the same, and I hate to say that because, you know, right now we're not in a relegation battle, but I feel like if we don't win this game, we're going to get sucked in. You know, if we don't win this game, the confidence is going to drop to even more serious degree, and you know, who knows when the next win's going to come from. We've got Man City on Wednesday, and then Brighton at home the following Sunday. I'm seeing Sheffield United and Brighton as 2 must wins. You know, if we can get 6 points from those games, then we're back on track, and then we've got the cup game against Bournemouth, and then we might have 3 wins in 4 games, and that'd be the boost we need to get ourselves back on track. But I really feel like if we don't get a result from this one, even a draw wouldn't be good enough. I think even if draw would mean, I think we get sucked in. I absolutely hate to say it, and you know, I try and be an optimist as much as I can be, but at the same time, I've got to be realistic, and I do feel if we don't win this game, we're going to get dragged into it. But anyway, let's talk about Sheffield United. Like I said, I've been very impressed with their turn of the year form. They've shown a bit of fight that they didn't have in the first half of the season. They've done it with injuries as well. You know, Johnny Egan's been out. I think Billy Sharp's had his ups and downs. Ryan Brewster hasn't even scored yet. So they've been able to, you know, find some form and score some goals. David McGoldrick's been a great player for them this season, and they've been resolute as well. You know, if you look at the Aston Villa game, they went down to 10 men, but showed exactly how to defend when you've got a lead and you're playing with 10 men. They sat deep, they worked hard, they played for each other. That's something we need to see from Saints. And again, I look at that result in midweek for them and think they're going to make it really difficult for us on Saturday. They're going to make it very tight. It's going to be an uphill battle, and at times we don't deal well with that sort of pressure. You know, we don't deal with the hardcore, you know, steely defences that kind of sit back. So we'll have to see. But again, I'm nervous in the sense that we just have to win the game. It'd be the same against any opposition in the fact that it's must win. But yeah, I'm very nervous if you can't tell already. But like I said, Sheffield United, I think they've improved a lot over the new year, and it's a shame that they had such a poor first half of the season, because I think if they picked up a couple of wins in the first half of the season, they'd be well in with their rights of a realistic push for survival. But right now, I think they're 11 points off of safety, if I'm not mistaken. This is just a bit too much of an ask. But of course, I'm no expert on Sheffield United, so I got Nick from the Sheffield United Way to come back on the channel to give us some insight on Sheffield United ahead of the big game.
Hi Saints fans, it's Nick here. I run the YouTube channel The Sheffield United Way, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into how Sheffield United have played this season and our kind of form as it is right now. So if you're asking me the question, how have Sheffield United gone from 9th in the table, being everyone's kind of second team, to rock bottom and just embarrassing ourselves, I think the major 4 points really are injuries to key players, which we've had Jack O'Connell, probably our best defender, is a massive option going forward as well with the overlapping centre-backs. So that's Jack O'Connell. John Egan recently has got injured, who is our rock at the back as well. Chris Basham's just got injured, who's our other centre-back. So our 3 centre-backs who were so brilliant last season are all now injured. We've also had Sander Berger injured, who we bought for 22 million, I think it was, last season. So really, he is a big miss in that midfield. We've also signed Ramsdale in the goal for 18 million, and he's been poor. And we've also signed Brewster for 24 million, and he's been poor as well. He can't even get into the team. Played against Villa, but was poor again. I think Chris Wilder was just kind of giving him a run out to see if he can ignite his form. But that's the reason. Poor transfers, injuries to key players, poor defending, and let's be honest, the defenders that are playing at the moment, they're all second choice. So it's possibly the best time to players, but also the worst time to players, if you like. I'll explain that in a little bit more detail in a second. But we've also been really poor in that final third. We've not taken our chances when we've got them. We've not taken a chance when we've got into a good position. Instead of playing that eye the needle ball, we've turned back and opted to go backwards, and sometimes it's ended up back at the keeper. But that's what happens when you're low in confidence. We've also made sloppy mistakes at the back, and as you've probably seen our results this season, we've only lost by the odd goal every now and then. Obviously, against you guys, it was one of our worst performances of the season. We lost 3-0 at your place. We lost 4-1 against Chelsea, and I can't remember if it was 2 or 3-0 against Palace. Those are the only games where we've been comfortably beaten. Like, you look at teams that have finished rock bottom in the past and they've been beaten 4-5, 6-0 every week, or at least 4, 5, 6 times a season. We've been nowhere near that. And we've just picked 3 points up against Aston Villa, which is great. But we've had these kind of surges in form at certain points, and then we've kind of played really poorly straight after. So you never know, that could happen in this game. But we are coming off the back of a win. We've just beaten Villa, as I've just said. Phil Jagielka got sent off in that game, and we play 3 at the back, 3 central defenders, and we physically don't have a 3rd central defender now. So Chris Wilder may be forced to change the formation to 4 at the back, which we've barely done this season. I don't think we've done that at all this season. But going into this game, like I just said, we are depleted completely. We've got 3 midfielders that all will start. We've got 2 central defenders that we need 3 of. We've got our young right wing back, Bogle, who was probably, before he got injured, playing the best out of everybody. And he's obviously another injury. Unfortunately, the only place that we're not getting the injuries really is up front, and they're the ones that can't score a goal to save their lives. So it's a really tough one. It's a really tough one. How do I think we're going to come into this game? I think we're going to be defensive like we did against Villa. Like I said, we've barely got any players. It's down to bare bones. But I've seen Sheffield United in the past, and I've seen us, when our back's against the walls, really turn in a really good performance. And against Villa, don't get me wrong, we weren't excellent. We didn't play them off the park. If anything, they played us off the park, and we managed to take one of our only chances. But we defended really well, and I'm expecting exactly the same thing going into this game. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Fingers crossed for us. Obviously, we're trying to get off the bottom of the league. We are 3 points behind West Brom as I am recording this. So fingers crossed we can go into this game and get something from it.
Once again, thanks for doing that, mate. Of course, his links will be in the description below. Right, onto the predicted lineup. Now, this will be an interesting one. Of course, we saw Alex McCarthy dropped on Monday night. Fraser Forster came in. Didn't have too much to do besides take the ball out of the back of his net. I don't see why McCarthy would come back in after one game for Forster. I think Forster's going to be the choice from now on, probably to the end of the season. And of course, if we pick up a win in this one, and Forster has a good game, then they'll definitely keep him in there. So I think it'll be Fraser Forster in goal. Back 4, Ryan Bertrand at left back, of course. And then we're going to have to see one of Vestergaard, Salisu and Bednarek drop out. I'm feeling it's going to be Salisu. I just think because he's new to the side, really. I think he's been all right, but he's new to the side. So I think we can see Vestergaard and Bednarek in the middle, and then Walker-Peters on the right. Central midfielders, I think we'll have Ward-Prowse and Ibrahima Diallo. Good to have him back. And then on the left, I think we're going to see Moussa Djenepo, and on the right, Stuart Armstrong. Then up front, Danny Ings definitely. And then it's just a case of whether Ralph wants to stick with his little teacher's pet in Redmond. I don't know why. I just don't see what Ralph sees in him anymore. I put out a tweet saying it's down to fitness because he's one of our fittest players and lasts, 90 minutes with relative ease. I still stand by that. It's not a good enough excuse in my opinion. I think Adams should play next to Ings, even though he's had a poor run. But I think Redmond's going to start up front. And I hope he has a good game. Look, I like Redmond. I like what he's done for the club. But he's had a poor season and he was woeful against Everton. He's been woeful throughout this run. Whenever we have an attack, it seems to fizzle out when he's playing. And I hope he gets it right. I hope if he starts, he has a good performance. And he's been a player at times. He's played very well. I think when Ralph first came in, he was probably one of our best players. But it's just inconsistency. He's just not good enough. He scored against Sheffield United in the reverse fixture. So let's hope that he can get another goal if he's going to start. Personally, I'd have Adams, but I think it's going to be Redmond. Anyway, that is it for the video. If you have enjoyed it, leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't yet already. Follow us on our socials. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts ahead of the game, your score predictions. I'm going to go, when I've predicted negative, we've been okay. So you can blame me for this one. I will actually be at Bramall Lane. So if you want to follow me on Twitter for updates, then please do so. I'm very lucky to be at Bramall Lane in the press box tomorrow. I'm going to go 2-0 Saints. I think we have to win it. And I think the players know that. I think there'll be a bit of fight. And I think we'll come away with a win. Only just. Let me know your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section below. And we'll see you after the game for the match review. Hopefully after a big 3 points. Take it easy, guys.